All right, so let's get to our next topic on this edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast, and that is, why don't bands break up like they used to? You know, like especially Kiss, who I guess don't know the meaning of a farewell tour because they played their farewell tour, their final run of shows in 2023, and they are already making a live appearance at an upcoming Kiss Army event that is going to be happening in Las Vegas this November. Now, I guess there is somewhat of a catch with this because they did make their farewell tour, but they're saying that this show they're going to be unmasked, which is I guess how they're getting around doing this whole farewell tour thing. I'm going to keep putting that in quotations throughout the the duration of this podcast. Farewell tour, because you know they said that was going to be their last shows, but then again there's a caveat to that because I guess they only said those would be their last in makeup shows. So they somehow found a loophole to not make the farewell tour a farewell tour, because farewell tour, I guess for Kiss is just a smokescreen, because these guys, okay, Kiss, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, and the other guys that they have in the band, they will never stop being in Kiss. Okay. They're going to be in wheelchairs and they're still going to be playing Kiss shows, whether that's in makeup or without makeup. And I'm thinking like, nor should they be giving up their time in Kiss, because obviously that is made up the majority of their lives and their careers. But you know, like people, they got to stop telling people that they're going to be breaking up when they're not breaking up. Okay. Because if you're not going to break up, you need to stop leading people on. Like I was just thinking, because bands don't break up like they used to. You remember back in the 70s and the 80s and 90s when bands would break up and they would go out in a blaze of glory? Because I'm thinking about that Simpsons skit when they the Simpsons scene when they go to the Spinal Tap concert and Bart, he has that dream of being drunk, and Milhouse is like, "You've changed, man. You used to be about the music." That is how I picture bands breaking up, or at least how I picture bands should break up. But then these days with bands, there's these things, it's not just a breakup, right? They're not just like, okay, we're done, we're out of here. No, you got to cash in on it on your way out the door, right? Bands don't just break up. They put together prolonged tours. Looking at you, Kiss, on this one again. They have to put together merchandise sales. They have to record a final album. It's all part of a bigger business plan, right? Bands used to break up because they hated each other. Now bands break up because it's a sound business decision. And I'm going to call out a Canadian band, Tokyo Police Club, who's a popular band here in Canada. They're from Toronto, been around for a better part of like almost 2 decades. Great band. I love Tokyo Police Club, but they announced their farewell tour last year, and it just felt almost felt a little bit disingenuous to me, because I get it. They want to put together a final tour, but they want to somehow say goodbye to the fans. They want to give the fans a chance to see them live one last time before they break up. But then it just felt kind of hollow to me, because they were doing not just a farewell tour. They were like, "Oh, here's your final chance to get 25% off on merch. Here's your final chance to see us here. Here's your final chance to see us doing this." And it was just like, just break up, guys. I get it. Maybe you don't hate each other. Maybe it's more of an amicable business decision not to be in a band anymore. But like, it just feels like you're just really cashing in on your fans one last time before you break up. And then inevitably in like 2 to 3 years time, when you've decided that, hey, we like being this band again, you're going to get back together. And then it's the reunion tour. Like at least Oasis, when they broke up, that went out in a blaze of glory. Liam and Noel hated each other. Noel walked out. They didn't play that final show in Paris. And then they broke up for 15 years. It took them 15 years to get back together before we had the Oasis reunion. So I just feel like Oasis did it right when it came to breaking up. And then back to the topic of Kiss. Like, I understand from their perspective, like, this is what they do, right? Even though it's a farewell tour, they want to keep making music. I understand that. Even if they're an older band, they're older guys, that is their identity. That is who they are. Like, I've been getting older, and I used to think when I was younger, when I was first starting my first band, when I was like 15, I remember saying to myself and saying to my bandmates, like, I don't want to be making an album past the age of, or being in a band past the age of 30, because that means you're washed up and that you shouldn't be in a band anymore. Well, that's obviously changed, because I'm well beyond the age of 30 now, and I still love making music. I still love writing songs. I still love playing in bands, and I still love rock and roll. That's why I do this YouTube channel. That's why I'm doing this podcast right now. So if somebody would say, hey, you got to hang it up. You're past the age of 30. Well, I would think that's ridiculous. And I think that's the same for Kiss, even though those guys are north of 70 now. Like they want to keep doing it. And like, I get it. They're getting older, but nobody says, nobody says they have to stop, but they don't also have to keep leading fans on and keep giving them false hope by continuing on. I feel like that is also disingenuous of Kiss, especially for the people who went to their farewell tour and thought, okay, well, this is it. This is going to be our last chance to see Kiss. Fans paid good money to see the farewell tour. And now I feel like it really cheapens the whole thing because the band is still playing makeup or not. So like, I get it. There's, Kiss is kind of two separate entities. There's the in makeup version of Kiss and there's the lick it up, no makeup version of Kiss. I much prefer the makeup version of Kiss. But I feel like, you know what? I get that they still want to play, but a farewell tour should mean something. And I feel like it cheapens that experience for the fans. Again, makeup or not, for the fans that went to go see that farewell tour and paid their hard-earned money. Look at Black Sabbath. They did a farewell show back in 2017, and now they're doing another farewell show this year because, the last one wasn't with Bill Ward, and this is the final one with Bill Ward on drums, and Ozzy Osbourne obviously has some declining health. I get it, but it just doesn't feel right when you tell fans and you market things as being like, this is going to be it, and then you come back a couple of years later and you said, no, this is really going to be it. And then, Gene Simmons was a topic on my last episode of the podcast. I was telling a story about how he was selling $12,000 packages for fans to be roadies at his shows. And then I look online the other day and he just canceled a whole swath of tour dates as part of that. And I just feel like when you cancel shows, when you say this is going to be the farewell thing, like I just feel like you're playing with fans' emotions and their wallets as well. It's not just a thing where you're playing with fans' feelings. You're playing with the hard-earned money that these fans pay out. And we all know that in 2025, concert tickets, and we'll be talking about this in just a couple of minutes with Ticketmaster, like concert tickets are so expensive these days. And it's so much money to go see a band in concert, especially if it was members of Kiss, that it just feels like you really should be a little bit more upfront with fans about your intentions if you're going to be breaking up a band. And Kiss, I feel like it's always been a money making venture, but now it feels like they're just taking advantage of fans. I get it. Kiss is a commercial band. They're in it to make money. Those guys want to continue making money off the brand that they've built with Kiss over the last 40 years. But it just feels like you're just taking advantage of fans now. And I know this is for a fan event, and I'm sure a lot of fans at the Kiss Army event are going to be really happy that Kiss are going to be there to play some songs, whether it be, masked or unmasked. This will be unmasked. I'm sure they'll be playing lots of Lick It Up like 10 million times. But for the other fans that paid for their farewell tour who are not going to be at the Kiss Army event in Las Vegas this November, I'm a little bit disappointed for them. I'm a little angry for them because I feel like Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, and the Kiss brand are really taking advantage of fans in certain ways. But that's just how I feel. Like I really feel like a farewell tour, again in quotations, a farewell tour should mean something. That should be it. If you're going to say you're going to be gone, just be gone and never come back, right? I'm sure some people disagree, but you can let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this? Do you think that Kiss is right to come back and have no makeup for a Kiss Army fan event? Or do you think that they should have stuck to their guns and the farewell tour should have really been a farewell tour? You can let me know your thoughts in the comments below.